Is it a cinematic sensation? Is it a masterpiece of animation? Or a terrible train wreck like Jambareeqi check? If a movie needs an exorcism, he'll smite the demon with criticism. If it deserves attention, he'll give it a heartfelt mention. A strawberry rating 1 to 5. Jambareeqi Reviews.
Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here. Before I begin this review, I have a special announcement to make. Now, I know a lot of you like the opening theme song to this show. Well, Karan Sun and Grant Olson, the talented musicians behind my intro theme song, have released a brand new original comedy song called No Wi-Fi. It's a hilarious, relatable and catchy song that I highly recommend you check out. I've left a link to it in the description box below. If you do listen to the song, please also consider subscribing to Karan's YouTube channel. This man is super talented, multi-skilled, and his channel is packed with amazing content. From original royalty-free music you can use in your videos, to covers of songs from animated TV shows. Independent musicians like Karan need and deserve our support, so please give him a chance. Thank you. Anyway, in this episode I'm going to be talking about quite possibly one of the strangest films I've ever reviewed on this show. Cat 1 is a 20-year-old satellite designed to observe Korea from space. She really loves Earth, and when she hears a beautiful song being played by a 27-year-old musician called Kyung-chan, she decides that she wants to meet the man behind the song. She ends up arriving on Earth in the form of a human child, where she meets Merlin the Wizard, who has been turned into a roll of toilet paper and is trying to protect anthropomorphic animals from a giant incinerator that is burning the animals alive, and a poacher called Mr. O, who wants to steal their livers. You see, when someone develops heartbreak, they are transformed into an animal through a curse. One such cursed individual is a milk cow. Cat 1 discovers that Milk Cow used to be the musician behind the song she loved. But Milk Cow has abandoned music because he used music to woo the woman he loved and ended up getting his heart broken. Merlin insists that Milk Cow serves as a bait for the incinerator in order to defeat it, while Cat 1 wants Milk Cow to get back into music. But Milk Cow just wants to be human, and kind of can, using a magic paper disguise. While Cat 1 struggles to adapt to Earth, she develops feelings for Milk Cow, and he begins to return those feelings. The main thing that I asked myself while watching this movie, the question that kept haunting me again and again was, what the fuck is happening? This is a movie that makes the entire Studio Ghibli catalogue seem grounded in reality. This is a film that tells Yellow Submarine to hold its beer. It is weird. Of course, credit should be given to the film for taking so many risks with its premise, and going all out in the imagination department for its ideas. However, I don't think that a movie is automatically 5 stars just because it's different and unexpected. It's all in the execution. How are these strange concepts pulled off in the long run? Well, this can be an exhausting film, one that does not really care if you're following along okay or accepting what's being thrown at you. I admire the enthusiasm, but the movie is still trying to tell a story at the end of the day, and when that story is being told so frantically, it's hard to appreciate what it's trying to say half the time. As soon as the movie opens, it hits us with every single setup. Here's a satellite being brought to life, here's a man that was turned into a milk cow, that talking toilet paper is Merlin the Wizard, there's a poacher stealing cursed anthropomorphic animal's liver. It's all a bit much to take in after pressing the play button, especially with characters spoon-feeding us exposition about what's happening. Even though the movie is spelling out so much to us, we're still left asking questions. Why is Kyung-chun's pet a cartoony-looking dog who loves cleaning the flat? If this is normal to Kyung-chun, why is everything else that's weird so shocking to him? Where did the incinerator come from? Who built it? Why isn't it more normal to see anthropomorphic animals in this world? Heartbreak is a very common condition. You'd think these transformations would become noticeable, yet people freak out when they first discover Milk Cow. Yes, they're initially scared of him because they mistake him as a child napper, but the way they respond to him in general indicates that they've never seen something like him before, calling him a monster and acting like he's a new discovery. Even though it's not hard to notice a giant incinerator and a weird man with a plunger chasing these oversized animal people. The confusing world building for this film leaves a lot to be desired. I can't just switch off my brain to these things and enjoy the ride. There's no rails to hold on to. Storytelling is a form of communication. The director has to take what's inside of his brain and present it to the audience in a way that they can connect to. With this film, I feel like the director is speaking over my head, not directly to me. I can definitely tell that they are very passionate about what they want to say, but they're struggling to make it digestible for the audience. When the movie does eventually calm down, it's a little bit easier to get into. Sure, those unanswered questions still lingered on my mind, but I started to appreciate the kinds of things the movie wanted to explore. What's it like to be a satellite who watched humanity for 20 years and then finally experiences it for herself? And can we enjoy our passions after heartbreak has ruined that hobby? It's all very poignant stuff. Unfortunately, the film might have calmed down at this point and found coherent, interesting things to say, finally, but its pacing is still poorly handled. The flow is very scattered, things that are brought up become discarded not long after, and sometimes a scene will just randomly end with a fade out, like it's about to take a commercial break. Now, I won't lie, the romance in this movie is super cheesy and corny.
Well, I definitely felt that.
Oh, you mean the electricity? I felt it too when you reached out to touch me just now. And when I heard your beautiful song from space.
Cat 1, look. No matter what, I'll never let go of your hand. Here.
And it's a bit awkward that Satellite Girl has the body of a child, while Kyung-chun is presented as either a 27-year-old grown-up or an adult anthropomorphic cow. It's kind of creepy to watch them get romantic together because of this. Yeah, she's technically in her 20s, and I get that the film wants to say that appearances don't matter, but it's still iffy and made me uncomfortable. Despite this, I get the message of the romance, that two lost souls from different worlds who have gone through extreme changes can potentially fall in love and help the other discover themselves. It's a sweet sentiment that shows how love can motivate us to recover, and that strange quirks shouldn't get in the way of a relationship. I'm going to give 3 points to the content. Kyung-chun is a very rude and selfish man who does let his fears or pain bring out unhealthy behaviour. He can be a tad unsufferable because of this, and I did struggle to sympathise with his heartbreak. To be fair though, a lot of his attitude comes from characters invading his privacy, which is understandable, and the film does address his selfishness and cowardice. As the film goes along, he becomes a more soft-spoken and caring person. His love for Satellite Girl inspires him to be braver about expressing his feelings and embrace his talents as a musician. Cat 1 is quite adorable. She's full of curiosity about the human world and is very protective of Milk Cow. Can she be too invasive or too protective? Totally. But she still has well-meaning intentions, and she gradually learns to tone herself down the more time she spends in Korean society. She's also quite the badass in fights, using her detachable robotic body parts to her advantage in battles. The joke of Merlin being a talking toilet paper roll stops being funny very quickly, as it's not that hilarious once you've accepted it and become desensitized to how silly the concept is. But he's still a likeable character, because he's always so passionate about doing good, from his determination to stop the incinerator to looking out for characters' feelings. Even though he's now a bog roll, he still carries himself with pride, and there's something to admire about that. The Witch of the North is a very snobby and uptight woman, but I can't say that I dislike her. She can be entertainingly sassy, will call out characters for their stupidity or selfishness, and is kind enough to give heartbroken people a home to stay. Mr. O is a very boring villain. He has the cliche motive of making money, he's not that scary, he didn't get many laughs out of me, and he doesn't do much besides chase the milk cow with a plunger. He's a forgettable and one-dimensional bad guy that doesn't have anything interesting to offer. The closest explanation we get for the incinerator is that it's a manifestation of fear. I guess you could appreciate it as an abstract villain who represents evil, but it's still hard to shake off questions when it looks so man-made. Nonetheless, it's effectively threatening as its relentless need to burn people alive and creepy glowing eye make it kind of intimidating. I'm going to give 3 points to the characters. You may notice how this movie looks quite similar to a Studio Ghibli production, but I'm afraid that it's nowhere near as fluid or polished as a Hayao Miyazaki film. There's a noticeable skip in the frame rate and characters aren't as expressive as they could be. Everyone's faces could be so much more flexible, I swear. Yes, Cat 1 is a robot technically, but she can still cry. She's still heavily humanized and has an emotive voice, so she can't get away with looking wooden or soulless. The animation is so cheap looking that it makes the movie look more like an early 2000s anime TV show, not a feature-length film production. I guess some people can find nostalgic value in that, but me, no. This is still a cinema-released movie. It needs better production values. It's not distractingly bad, it's still okay to look at, as the character designs are imaginative and the fight scenes can be energetically creative. But the animation never reaches the visual wonder you would expect from a theatrical animated fantasy film. I was never wowed, never stunned, never taken back. I'm going to give 3 points to the animation. Keep in mind, I watched this movie in its English dub format, so I can only talk about the English voices. Daniel Edwards voices Kyung-chun. He's very good at sounding neurotic and frustrated about all these weird things happening to him, but he can be soft-spoken when his character needs to be more caring.
I just cleaned that! Stop! What are you doing?
Is this it?
Hands off! You'll break it! If you ever touch my keyboard again, I'll kick you out. Got it? When I'm with Cat 1, I become the best version of myself. She makes me feel like singing again. And like whatever I want to do, I can as long as she's beside me.
Ryan Bartley plays Cat 1. She does a convincing job sounding like a satellite developing humanity, going from being nonchalant and formal to emotionally sensitive and sincere.
Hello, I am Kitsat 1. My mission is to collect audio and visual data. Huh? What happened to my body? Why couldn't I have just been a normal girl? I wish that I had just stayed in space and never come down here. Because then I wouldn't have met you, and my heart wouldn't hurt like this.
Kirk Thornton voices Merlin, and he is terrific. He carries the role with a lot of dignity, which helps to sell the joke of Merlin being a toilet paper roll.
Fear not, my bovine friend. I shall assist you.
What the heck?
Your heart may be broken, but do not let them take your soul.
What does that mean? Oh.
Cam Clark, who is credited under the pseudonym of Jimmy Flinders, is Mr. O. Even though there's not much to work with for his character, Cam still tries to add some streetwise shady personality to his lines.
Oh, too slow. Finally got you. There. Here's one that annoying incinerator wasn't able to steal from me.
Julianne Taylor plays the Witch of the North, and she is great at pulling off the witch's diva personality.
Your magic cane would come in handy right about now. Without that, you're less of a wizard and more just a sewer clog waiting to happen.
Oh, I have it.
Wait, you're joking, right?
That was my enchanted staff.
The only thing you'll be enchanting is a bowl of kimchi. Oh, that's rich.
I'm going to give 5 points to the voice acting. The music is, well, it's fine. It's pretty generic stuff. Soft, gentle piano for quiet scenes and loud orchestral tracks for more intense moments. It's not horrible to listen to, but it's also not that special either. It does its job, but it's missing that oomph. It never reaches that peak where it hits you hard or leaves an impact. I think it lacks personality more than anything, making it rather average and hard to appreciate or remember. You'd think it would be interesting and inspired, considering the batshit crazy premise of the film, but sadly, it's just passable at best. The film also includes original songs written and performed by Kyung-chun. I have found these songs to be really cheesy.
Let's fly away, don't look behind, we'll fly away and hug the sky. I can see your gloomy face, staring fearful into space. Cheer up, darling, and confess that what we're doing is for the best.
Daniel Edwards has a good singing voice, but what he's performing just sounds too mushy, and that's saying something as someone who adores cutesy love songs. The songs go past being charmingly innocent to become kind of annoying. Maybe the songs will be your cup of tea, but me, I'm not impressed, sorry. I'm going to give 2 points to the music. To conclude, Satellite Girl and Milk Cow is a very nonsensical film that audiences will struggle to keep up with, but when the movie tones down its insanity, you can start to appreciate it on a deeper level and maybe see what the director was going for. It's just, because of its poor pacing, clunky editing, rough production values and scattered storytelling, it's very hard to enjoy it as a whole. There's passion behind its imagination, but the execution is where it fails. I really wanted to love this movie because it seems so different and strange, but it just turned out to be okay. Satellite Girl and Milk Cow has gained 16 points, which translates to 3 1/4 uddered strawberries out of 5. If you enjoyed the human and robot love story in Chobits, and the surreal fantasy elements of Spirited Away, I think you might like this movie. I'd just like to point out that the graphics for this video were produced by Toongrin. If you'd like to request commissions from them, here's their website on screen. I've been Jambareeqi and I hope you enjoyed my review. If you did, then feel free to subscribe to my channel. Also, consider supporting my channel by making a monthly pledge to my Patreon in return for awesome rewards. Thank you. I'd like to give shout outs to 2 new patrons, Cheese and Quackers and Jam Mull. You two are as fantastic as a glass of magic milkshake. So, what am I going to be reviewing in the next episode of Jambareeqi Reviews? Well, there was an animated film that came out last year that I didn't end up reviewing. Let's change that. Cheerio, folks.